So I am now officially reconvening the meeting at 1:46.
Where's Aaron? We have to.
Paula, can you give us an update on what this formally relates to?
So we made an offer to the department for 22 houses for $200,000. Jenny met with a lady from the department about the houses, and she advised that if we made a counter offer of around 280 to 300, the department would be more likely to accept that offer.
Okay, and that's basically it in a nutshell. 4
22,
units between Alpha, Jericho, Aramac.
yes.
Which works out about $12,727 a unit.
Some are very good units. There's 8 in Aramac that are very good. Another 5 aren't bad, but they're not great either. And probably similar with Jericho and Alpha.
So our initial offer was for the whole amount, was for all of them.
Yes.
We wanted them all, and they said we can have them all provided we offer them a bit more money. Councillors, you haven't missed anything that's not written in the briefing note. 22 units, 200 wasn't quite enough, but 280 to 300 might be.
So income on those a year is about 82,000, and expenses is about 59. So we're making about 22,000 a year out of them.
How much of those would then go to more of a market rental than rental?
We don't do market rental at all, because it's just so too high.
How many are under the one housing rental? The community housing rental calculation?
No. They're just all set by council.
Just our standard weekly fee for non-government sector rent. Our budget for this,
200?
so
We've put 200 for the last 3 years.
so the budget implication really is only 80. There's 200 budgeted, so there's an additional 80 unbudgeted. Is that right?
Yes.
And that source of money would be from where? Well, yeah, that's right. It could just come out of retained funds, but I'm just trying to identify if that's, is there a surplus in the budget that we can scoop off somewhere else? Or do we have to dip into? I'm not opposed to it. I'm just trying to, before we get to whether we are in favour or not in favour, let's just nail down where that 80,000 is going to come from. We've got a couple of projects this morning, but some of them were still possibly not quite practically, they might be practically complete, but not financial completion, so.
What was it? It was identified as an economic development project, and there's that bucket, the economic development bucket still unspent. 40,000. And that hopefully.
So it's not spent, but we more than likely would apply the due diligence report, the funds that were required to pay for that, that'd probably get costed to that, wouldn't it? Which still leaves money, but that 140 would cover that, would it not?
Sorry, that's come out of it. So the 22 2,000.
That has come out. Sorry, councillor Gleeson. Did you?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I missed out on the first little bit, but it's a package deal, works out to about $14,000 per unit.
$12,277, I think.
Per unit.
It's 700.
Pardon?
700.
Was it 700?
727.
Was list XCF would kicked in or not?
It's something that we budgeted, as I said, at least 3 years.
Yeah.
It's been an aim of ours to acquire these houses. 200 was an ambit claim. It's still a very good deal. Because the cost, we're still wearing the cost whether we own it or not. It's still maintaining. But it does give us the opportunity to either unsell some of the older stock.
Through you, Mr Mayor, there's no caveat on retention to sale. Like, there's nothing to say that we have to hold on to them for 1, 2, 5 years. We can.
I think we've already sold some of the other ones.
Not community housing. Oh, maybe we have in Motherwell.
My experience elsewhere is no. Right, so the source of funding here can come from the economic development bucket, which still has surplus funds that are unallocated. So within the budget, this can be budget neutral. Are we inclined to support? Councillor Gleeson?
Sorry, I missed what you said.
Are you inclined to support this? It's
Yes.
budget neutral.
Yes.
It doesn't cost the budget. That line item in the budget is currently 200, but we can pull 80,000 from economic development and still have about 20,000 left in there. Is that right? 18,000. She said it was 140 and 22's come out of it.
Yeah.
And we take 80 out, so we'll have about 800 left. If I've got that right.
I think it's more than that.
Might be 48. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's going to be money left in it.
Mr. Mayor, you asked me, did I agree or disagree? I agree.
Councillor Haynes. Councillor Arthur.
I tend to agree, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Plum.
I fully agree.
Just tending to agree or partially agree. I know the difference. Councillor Rogers.
Yes, I agree.
Partially tend to, fully. Do you want to qualify the style of agreement you have with the suggestion? No. Fully agree, right. Councillors, is there an alternative source that you want to find for the 80,000? Or are we happy to take it from that line item?
Take it from
Right, do I have a mover? Councillor Peoples, seconder. Councillor Plum, did you have a question there, Councillor Plum, that you were just about to leave?
I was just going to ask, and the question was asked a while ago, but I'm going to ask a slightly different way. Does the council, if the council resells some of these assets within the 12-month period, does the council gain capital gains tax? Or is there a capital gains tax problem if we sell them soon?
Council doesn't pay tax. Stop.
Okay.
Is that GST? You do pay stamp duty.
Stamp duty.
Do you include it? No, no. Oh, I don't think from the government transfer. Do we have to pay stamp duty on that?
Okay, we have a motion from Councillor Peoples and Plum. 280,000 for 22 housing units, that's the remainder of them. Is there any opposition? Those in favour? Carried, 7-0. 374. Paul, anything to add to your report?
No, states like that, Aaron.
Councillors, questions for Paula? Do I have a mover? Councillor Plum, seconded Councillor Peoples. Debate? Those in favour?
Does that not,
Hold up, sorry.
does that mean shed does not get used?
Well, I think the report indicated 2 members.
It is only
For utilisation.
Yeah, 2 members is what I've been allowed.
Okay, I'll vote.
Those in favour? 7-0. Can I please have somebody move Jenny's report be received? Councillor Peoples, seconded Councillor Gleeson. Those in favour? Carried 7-0. Jenny?
The pathway over at near the Corte Pot is complete. There is quite a bit of cost saving there, but I think the Tropic of Capricorn may cost us a little bit more than budgeted, but it still won't cost that. The bollards fencing that was going up near the campground, yes, we did end up going with bollards, very cheap alternative. That's going to come in well under budget as well. Pretty close to finish, I think it's just got the chain to go on the top of that. Rec Park landscaping, the hydromulch was done last Monday. In and out in no time, it looks like green paint on there, you've probably noticed. Plants are here, just trying to work out what we're going to do with watering. Turf, I think, was being laid today, if they could cut it in emerald.
Yes. That's been made by the looks of the photos.
Yeah, I'm not, unfortunately I'm on Facebook, so yeah, I don't see those, so yeah. Everything else seems to be pretty much on track.
Questions for Jenny?
Through you, Ms. Mayor, Jenny, were you successful with the HR?
That wasn't, I was only on the panel. I wasn't official. That's more probably the acting CEO.
No. Councillor Plum.
Thank you.
Councillor Hanson, do you have any questions for Jenny?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Williams.
The only thing I can say is the workmanship with the bollards over at the camp draft is very, very neat and tidy. Extremely good.
And extremely cheap.
Pardon?
And extremely cheap.
I like it even more. It's good and cheap.
It's even better.
They were locally made
Excellent.
and painted.
Councillor Plum, any questions?
No.
Peoples?
No, right.
Councillor Arthur, I think you may be the last one.
Right, Mr Mayor,
You
thank
have
you.
no questions. Thank you very much. 382. Is this request, are we approving your decision here, Jenny? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, agrees to provide the donation.
Okay. Councillor Plum moves. Second. Questions? Sorry, Councillor Hanson was the seconder. Hang on, questions, please.
This is for a future event, Mr Mayor?
No, that's why I think it's already been made. I think they're there now. I think we're affirming the decision. Is that right?
Excuse me, no decision has been given. They asked us to put it forward. We told them that it had to go to a meeting and they were too late for that.
Right.
And they said, can we put it up in lieu of giving them what we normally give them for their Oasis Carnival?
Okay.
So they're
So we've
aware that it
cancelled
may
that.
not, yeah,
Yeah.
they were aware that it was a council decision to make.
Right.
So it's for the weekend they've just had.
Yeah, that's sort of where I was leading because I'd seen that they had a good weekend anyway.
So it's $500 for their carnival.
That's what I can approve, which is what we give, but they're not getting that. They asked for this in lieu of that, because I told them, basically said,
it's one or the other. And then came forward.
Councillor Peel,
I'm fine with me.
Councillor Gleeson,
100%.
Councillor Hand, Councillor Arthur.
Again, Mr Mayor, I think some of our community groups need to appreciate our grants policy. But asking for consideration after something's happened, there needs to be a little bit more forethought from some of them. Because it puts us in a hard position, like the money's been spent.
To Mr Mayor, they filled out a donation request form, which I responded to, advising them that I couldn't approve it.
Yeah.
So then they came back with a counter request.
Okay. Councillor Arthur, just reaffirming the point you've made, obviously, or Councillor Love.
No, but it is what it is.
Councillor Rock.
Officer's recommendation.
Those in favour? Against? Carried, 7-0. 391, can I have somebody move Angela's report be received? Councillor Hanson, seconded Councillor Plum, those in favour? 7-0. Now Angela's busy, obviously. Just to add to this, because it deals with an area in there, I mentioned that I led the meeting in my report, but council relations and meetings that Angela's undertaken there. So I did I've had a number of meetings now, but one yesterday around the Central West Aboriginal Corporation. And they did note to me with significant pride and excitement that they've now been formally welcomed back to the table around considering the future of the palace, which is a major, in my assessment, a major step forward in terms of stakeholder relations and engaging parties. There's a long way to go by their admission, but at least there's a feeling around that group and that table now that we're somewhat closer to having key stakeholders back there. So nothing concrete to report in terms of outcome. I just noted that in Angela's meeting there, and that was reinforced with me yesterday, there's obviously still some work to be undertaken, and I use the word some loosely. There's a lot. So anyway, I can speak about that. Brett, is there anything else in there that you want to speak to on Angela's behalf?
I think the Whiteley Town gift cards. So Angela's been to all 5 towns, met the businesses.
So how do they work? Do people just go and get them and then charge them with a sum of money? Is that right?
Yes.
So there's no cost associated with that?
No, councils.
We budgeted to do that.
To do that, so you want to give someone a gift card, you purchase at one of the load-up stores, with a sum of money that they have to spend it within the local area.
So a business in,
within that area.
yep. So a business in Alpha approached me about the fact that they wanted to do this for all of their account holders. They wanted to buy them all one as a group and load it with a sum of money as a Christmas present. But there was a fee associated with that.
Through you, Mr Mayor, that fee, wasn't that the $8,500 that we paid for that cards?
Was my understanding. I just wanted to get some clarity.
Pretty sure there wasn't
No.
a fee.
There's not a processing fee.
If it's on a credit card, maybe,
No, it was a council attributed fee. It was the advice direct to Judy. So that's definitely no charge.
So, in the office, we've got them in the office, but I think only Charmaine was there at the time, given the explanation. And there's emails and paperwork coming through because we're able to load the card, still trying to work out how to do that. Because if they pay by FPOS, I think we now then load it through the FPOS. I haven't had a thought about it, but yeah, I'll see what details I can find in the emails that I've received. But that we've only just got them yesterday, I think.
We followed it up. But the idea was the council was wearing the fees.
Look, it was why the business owner raised it with me, because it's our understanding as well. So could somebody communicate with Alpha Merchandise about that? He's very keen to get involved with it.
Excuse me, did you say the council were wearing the fees?
That was part of our establishment of the process, was obviously the cost of the cards and the architecture around that.
To you, Mr Mayor, could it be if they were going to council to purchase them, I don't know who's loading them, and they're paying with a credit card? It could be a 1% surcharge on that, I don't know, without knowing details of what.
The way it was represented to me, no, it wasn't just a payment charge that had hit their card. It was, this is what the cost would be. If you come and get one, it costs you nothing, but if you order the 105 that you want, we'll charge you a processing fee. Because as the business owner said to me, it makes no sense, so I might as well just send the girl in 105 times and get one at a time, rather than just do it in one block, 105 cards times whatever the figure is that the business owner wants to load. So right. Someone can follow that. Right, anything more for Angela's report? Hall Tree of Knowledge Festival. Council supports the Tree of Knowledge Festival is a recommendation, and subsequent festivals with in-kind support to the community groups who hold the events, but does not oversee the coordination and delivery of the event. Okay. In seriousness, could be one of the more controversial resolutions of the day. So, where are we at? May I just throw this up there for you to consider in your commentary, either removing in kind, which I know means cash, but if you're of a mind to support this intent, where we're supporting individual groups, which is we may choose to do that by subsidising a common activity we constantly keep hearing referred to as security. So we might say here's a cash grant for, anyway, but it's just an option to throw into the mix whilst is.
So we discussed this yesterday in the budget workshop. Is that for
the following year, the significant reference given to the outcome of this resolution would impact what the budget process for 22-23 actually does.
Through Mr Mayor, are you saying that we support the security for any of the groups who want to use the security, like they come put their hand up and say, can we have security throughout the weekend, and then but we just allow them to?
Essentially, yeah, essentially what this resolution is saying is we're not going to do a Friday/Saturday night function. We'll let the community groups run all the events. We'll just, it goes as far as to say coordination and delivery. We may be able to still do a degree of promotion, which I think is important for any of our community events, whether it's the Mottaburra Sheep Show or the Tree of Knowledge Festival weekend, or Harry Redford Cattle Drive, or the Alpha Races. I think whatever promotion council can do is beneficial in terms of economic support for our community groups and businesses. But effectively that big block event, we're saying that's up to the community. This resolution's pushing towards, or this recommendation, council stepping away and letting the community run the event.
Whatever the outcome is, we probably do need to remove the words in kind. Support could be cash.
It could be cheaper for us to throw a couple of $100 at somebody than,
Especially like on the weekend, during the whole weekend, in kind can means labourers or workers, and they don't, do they actually volunteer that time free, or we, like
No.
council pays them double time
longer
or overtime, like, which is,
Monday.
and what, is it easy to get that amount of volunteers, like, do people really want to work during that time? Is it-
Well, I think the conversation that was had yesterday may have been yourself at the budget meeting, Councillor Rogers, who when we were talking about, whatever we're running this night,
No one else is doing that.
no one else has ever going to try it.
So could we have something like council supports the 2020 Voluntary Lunch Festival and subsequent festivals to the community groups who hold the events, but does not oversee the coordination of the weekend, though will consider any written application from the organisations who would like support. So they write in, they tell us what they would like, and we give them the say, well, with regard to security, they have a price on it.
Well, I think you're probably just adding the process by which, by putting the written thing. That's what the subsequent festivals with support to the community groups, I mean, the process is that they would need to write to us, yes, but that probably is what's written there now, if you take in kind out. That's all right.
As long as we follow our current grant policy, I don't have a problem with this.
We really like people stay true to form. It's reassuring. Thank you for that. Councillor Hanson.
I don't have a problem, so.
Councillor Gleeson.
Mr Mayor, a couple of things. We were discussing, mentioned security. If we,
I just throw that out there because it's one that's pitched, I'm not, you know.
and I'm agreeing with you. You could run into lots of dollars, but at least be a dollar figure. You know, like for the radio, we had $3,000 in a security bill for half a quarter of a day and half a night. So over a few days, you know, you can run in with a lot of dollars, but that it would be a dollar figure. Whereas in-kind support,
Yeah, we're certainly recommending removing in-kind from that resolution.
that's what I'm
That
you know,
comes out.
if you go, if we talk about it and right, we'll go and get a security package and pay for security, you do have a figure to work on. Whereas if you go in-kind support, it's
It's tables and chairs and staff, that's all it is.
sorry,
It's just tables, chairs and staff, basically.
table chairs and staff, Mr Mayor, but it's disappointing that the staff will have to get paid double time and triple time, working all hours of the day and the night, that for our own town and our own function. That's the part that disappoints me. You could run into lots more dollars, unknown dollars, uncapped dollars.
Well, that's what we already are. I think because we're not overseeing the coordination and delivery, this takes back from that. And we're saying we're supporting the community groups who hold it, so they run their events. Council's not running any events. So we're not paying considerable amounts of overtime, or we're just providing, and on the, just back to the very first point you made about security, one of the things that may make it, one of the dearest parts of the security is the mobilisation, accommodation and so forth, and where you could perhaps rationalise some of that cost is where you've just engaged them once on that, so they mobilise, they drive here and back once, might be 8 events that use it, or 6. So, yeah, definitely the considerable on cost or cost for us is when we're constantly doing those things. There will be the time, double time and afternoon traffic management to shut the Capricorn Highway on the Monday. That's just an inescapable fact. Like we've got to abide by a traffic management plan approved by TMR. Police are involved. That's a messy one. Not a messy one, but it's important that we get that right. But in terms of packing up stages and cleaning rubbish at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday night or Saturday night, Sunday morning, that's
So I'm not in favour of that.
So yesterday, at the budget meeting, we talked about Saturday night. Is that the 23 or the?
We did talk about it Saturday. We talked about not doing it Saturday night. And that's why we trimmed it.
I thought we talked about doing it Saturday night, not doing it Friday night.
For 2022, I think we did mention that potentially we look after the
Yeah.
Saturday night.
For 23, the budget year, we were saying no to either. But then Councillor Gleeson raised the concerns around the fact that the neighbouring town has a significant knock-on event on both Friday and Saturday night that has a very real potential to impact on anything we run on both of those nights.
That's in 22,
Correct, yeah.
Mr. CEO.
Which is what
Year
this is
22 is a real problem. I feel it's going to be a real problem for any town bar Longreach on the year 122, that weekend. There's now there's a radio promoting a radio as big as now there was in Longreach at Hawthorne on that weekend.
Councillor Peebles.
Point.
Through Mr Mayor. Do we need to put a dollar value in, like if we take the in-kind support out? Do we need to have
Well, we've
a dollar
budgeted.
value in there?
We've already budgeted for that.
Just, yeah, take that out and we can support it to the value of what we've budgeted, that's it.
Well, to what we approved, more to the
Well,
point,
yeah.
we may not have to use all our budget. In fact, the budget implications say
Cover that.
potential reduction in budget and other resources required to coordinate. So we'd be approving these on application because this is a non-traditional
Yeah.
model,
That's what I just said.
provided they use the appropriate grant application form.
Which you like to do.
District managers are going to go home thinking about nothing other than grant application forms, I suggest, after today. Angela, you did join after council started discussing this. Do you have any problems with this? Yes, not problems. Do you have any concerns or matters you wish to raise that when we've taken in kind away? So we're saying we may still financially support some of those groups rather than it just being purely in kind.
Mr Mayor, I don't have a problem with that. It's more the overseeing of the coordination and the delivery of the weekend. That's my concern. I still want to support the festival and help them through our traditional marketing channels.
Promotion to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
So we're promoting it, but we're not going to be out there organising the food trucks and organising the venue entertainment. Okay. Do I have a mover? Councillor Rogers moves. Councillor Gleeson seconds. Do I have anybody who wishes to debate? Those in favour? I'm going to hold the vote. Councillor, I always welcome late questions. Do you have one?
Should we put in there, as Angela just said, to promote it also?
Okay, just in case you're very late to the pay, but that's a very relevant point in case people look at this and perceive it as us completely pulling the plug.
Yeah.
Councillor Rogers and Gleeson, would you support adding in there somewhere words to the effect of
Promotion.
with support to the community groups who hold the events and promotion? Yep, so after events and promotion, but does not oversee the coordination and delivery of the weekend. Councillor Rogers, your motion, you agree?
I'm happy with that.
Councillor Gleeson. I'll reopen debate.
Nothing for or against the motion, Mr Mayor, but I just hope the community appreciate the time and effort that council does put into the festival, and if they want it to succeed, they need to take some ownership of it.
Both ends.
Otherwise it will go back to individual events on the weekend, and as the CEO mentions, not really a festival.
Only try.
very, very.
I think we've supported it quite well and possibly too well. It needs to mature itself or not.
All right, I'll call the vote. Those in favour? 7-0. Councillor Plum, a very, very timely intervention.
Weary, too much to eat.
Well, you are the one, Councillor Plum, who insisted on bringing your afternoon or your lunch dessert to the chamber. You were here in a very timely manner, so I'll grant you that. 393, can I have somebody please move the Community Engagement Forum's report, please? Councillor Arthur, Councillor Hanson. Very detailed. I think it would be potentially hazardous to commence a broad-ranging discussion on any or all of the issues here, but I do think it I think it encapsulates the fact that we're out there. Community engagement, it's raised in here, so Paula, I did mention that we were going to ask you this question during your report, and you were probably hoping that I overlooked it, but I didn't. Not all day. But it is raised in here. The Aramac Waste Management Facility. How are we going with keeping the rubbish in the rubbish dump?
I don't think we are, Mr Mayor, still blowing down the creek. I don't know if they had a chance to look at it the other day when he was going to one of us.
Through your meeting, I've gone down and had a look at it. I've met up with senior work supervisor there on the site, albeit for about 15-20 minutes. We still need to have another closer look at what we've got there. Issues are paper blown out everywhere. And,
So, this is what currently it's on today. So it's, I mean, it's one thing for it to blow out, but it's not even in there in the first place.
So the panels weren't there about 2 weeks ago, so they put the panels there to try and,
Shepherd it in.
yeah, but they still just dump it out.
yeah, they're just,
Over, basically.
So is there a bit of a dual issue around user interaction and infrastructure, or is, you know, like, is there to the point that it won't matter what change you do, it's always going to blow away, or because it's not dumped in the right spot, or?
through your man, that tip is a little bit different to our old tip over here, because you've got a hole and that hole needs to be protected, and that's why that fence is around that hole to protect that. So if you go further out, back it in a little bit, you can drop material, you know, you can drop your rubbish off in there. It's education as well.
Well, it would be probably one of the only issues that seems to survive from one community engagement forum to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. We've tried to budget some money for it, probably not enough in some cut, actually definitely not enough. You know, I think one year we totally threw 20 grand at it. I think we pulled it away and put it onto the Aramac pollution block from memory because it was clearly a significant sum of money. I don't know, might just be, it would be good to see something done. Clearly an issue of concern for a lot of people in that community.
Through you, Mr Mayor, how deep is the hole? On average, like,
More than, around 3 metres, 3.6, something like that. It does come up a little bit and then it kind of flattens down due to unforeseen circumstances.
Have we stopped dumping there?
No.
So our household waste that we collect still goes into that?
I don't know how you're going to stop it, you know. The more I thought about it, you've got mesh fences, you know, wire fences. You've got a north-easterly predominantly wind that's blowing straight down the hole, and you've got paper.
Can you change the direction of the hole?
Well, I don't know.
Doesn't matter, yeah, the last hole was facing the other way and
It
it was
was-
still rubbish.
It was east-west, yeah. But I just don't know how you're going to stop it.
We go to the skip bin solution. Transfer station. Unless they're covered, you're gonna face the same, in an exposed area, you're gonna face the same problem before someone gets there empty the skip bins for you, they're gonna be blowing down the flat too, aren't they?
Or just buy that truck that brings it back here. I think that's the only way you can stop it, because you're not, with those predominantly northeasterly winds, and you know, we've had a fair bit of wind this year. I don't know how you stop it.
All right.
That rubbish in that picture though wasn't dumped by our truck.
No.
I would think it'd be just, so even if we got a truck that would bring it back here, that there's still stuff that gets dumped in the interim.
What's your education, Blair? You said some education, what's that?
Just educating people where to go instead of dumping it on the fence. Signs and directing it back into the hole so they can.
Well, the last few times I've been out there, there's a gap in the fence.
Okay.
And there's an old power pole on the edge of the hole, so as you can back your trailer up to that.
Yeah, there's a bit of a reason why it's on the flat there, but I don't know if it's behaviours. There's no room for it to be any further in. It's chopped up. So someone who drives there, unless he drives in over the rubbish, you know what I mean? Like there's a congestion of rubbish at the opening that probably needs pushing away. A loader, a backhoe, a bobcat.
And it is part of that, because we've got a 3 metre drop off on the other side, like,
Well, there's 3 metre drop off on that side there now, where you can go to, you know, you used to back down into the hole a bit and drop it down the hole too. It used to be at least it was going in the hole, but,
Used to be it's half that rubbish outside.
More than half.
How often is it pushed into the hole?
Just once a week after the garbage truck comes.
Should it be done every second day?
That would have been done on Saturday morning, I'd say, after the Christmas party.
Yeah, looking at some of the boxes, yeah. That said, there's white goods and all manner of other things there. All right, planning, police staff, it's fine. Continual attempts to move in that direction. I'm not blind to your efforts, I'm just constantly repeating concerns that are raised.
Mr. Mayor, there's not, obviously there's not a spare vehicle in town like Bobcat or loader that's in town reasonably regularly, you know, leave more than once a week.
Not at the moment, they're all out on the road.
And as far as purchasing a vehicle, there's another budget item, you know, like a compactor and dig a decent hole. You said 3 metres, well, we're only a single household, and I've got a hole at home 3 metres deep, and I can prefer your tractor.
Mine's nearly
3 metres deep for a town hole, I'm sorry, you'd be able to put this building in a hole.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think Tom can actually reverse. I think that's where the biggest issue lies.
I think Councillor Gleeson's pretty good at reversing. It's getting late in the day. All right, issue's been raised. We'll move forward, please. Any further issues from the community engagement forums? We'll have a more detailed summary of that shortly.
Need a vote, please.
Those in favour of receiving that report? 7-0, thank you. 3101. Move Councillor Peoples. The council lobby the health minister to allow the LAC some discretion on funds raised in their community. Background materials there. Councillor Peoples, would you like to add?
no, just quickly for councillors, the local LACs over the years have made a lot of money, but it's now very difficult for LACs, probably not now, it has been forever, to spend money on anything in their own communities. Our LAC wanted to buy a couple of defibrillators to put around the town, and the we were advised by the commissioner that we weren't allowed to do that. So I want to buy a couple of, books for our school speech night. This is all money that's been raised by local people in their local community, and they should be able to put some of it back. So I'm just asking for support from council to do some lobbying through the mayor and CEO with the health minister to see if we can change this legislation.
I see the purchase, thank you Councillor Peoples, of defibrillators and take them in isolation. I see them as a genuine compliment to the work of a local ambulance. You know, we keep them alive while the ambulance is called, and certainly there's more and more people in our communities now being trained in the use of them through their appropriate resus courses. And, you know, even at first glance when I saw this, I thought about the speech night, sort of the partial bureaucrat in me thought, oh, I can sort of see why the government would say that. But then I thought more broadly about it, and I thought, look, those books could be literature about the benefits of exercise, or they could be first aid type books, they could be prizes for physical education classes or sporting achievement to really promote the health benefits of activity, physical activity. And the other thing they do, and this is the key reason why state members of parliament, local businesses, including local government, buy book prizes for school speech nights, is to promote awareness of their entity within the school environment, to promote the work they do. You know, pick on the local engineering firm here, GBA support a number of prizes in the engineering space at the local state school. It would be very similar or consistent, you would suggest, for local ambulance committees to be able to support in a field, in any field really, but in a field that deals with health or safety or so you know, even that I couldn't really understand the refusal. I think promoting the work of these LACs who undertake significant fundraising and equipment purchasing on behalf of the state supplement their assets. So yeah, I looked at this also and thought, is there a potential for negative feedback for council? I genuinely can't see it. They're either going to support our approach or they're not. But clearly this is the role of local government to take issues like this to the state where there's a problem with the process and see if we can find some common ground. So yeah, I definitely support this. Councillor Plum.
I'd like to move it, Mr. Smith.
You'll have to second it, unfortunately.
Oh, who moved on?
It's Councillor Peoples' notified motion, so he has to move it.
I'll second it.
Councillor Plum seconding it. Any further debate? There being none, put it to the vote. Those in favour? 7-0.
Thanks, councillor.
411. Questions on notice?
It's the last for the year.
We're inclined to find about 6 mayoral minutes now on some very contiguous or...
You're going to be Mr. Santa Claus, yeah?
Oh, someone's excited. You've thrown me completely since lunch, Councillor Plum. Can we have someone please move that we received this report with our responses to questions on notice last month? Councillor Gleeson moves. Second. Councillor Hampson, those in favour? 7-0. Now, Councillor, there is the questions.
Mr. Mayor, it probably relates more so to the previous. My question there, I may not have articulated it very well, but was more so, is this being extended across like all of our showgrounds areas? About the leasing at the showgrounds?
Okay, well, can we just do a quick survey? What other showgrounds have got areas that are exclusively reserved? So Alpha's got Pottery Group, or is it what they call themselves?
Yeah, the Alpha Cultural Group.
Yeah, and Alpha Men's Shed.
Alpha Men's Shed.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
Well, they don't, no, yeah, there's no group, they just play.
Netball, yeah.
It's Men's Shed plus their shed. There's no equipment storage.
I'm just not sure if it's the vehicle for what we're trying to achieve, because the additional public liability insurance, from what I looked into, is anywhere up to $2,000 for that $20 million for a community group. Outside of, they might have their like sporting or association liability, but the public liability is separate for that lease of that council asset.
So are we aware of what public liability they've got in the case of those two community groups in Alpha?
No, I'll have to check that out.
We need to check that out.
Yeah.
What have we got in Aramac? Nothing.
I don't think it's
So
a,
there's
there's a
two
lease arrangement as such.
No, but there probably should be,
Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm
as
just
per
saying.
our budget
I'm
resolution,
not aware of one that we would have, yeah.
that they need to.
That's what I mean, it's either across everything,
Yeah.
or we relook at it and see whether it's the vehicle for what we needed done or wanted done. That was more so my position with the questioning. I don't know whether I expressed it all that well last time.
Yeah, I think we took it as being part all the groups. Oh, yeah.
The,
No, that's how I read the note in that comment.
I'm pretty sure too that the actual men's shed, they come under like a men's shed public liability.
Yeah, it's a 20 million.
Yeah.
Will be there. It probably will be, but the pottery group possibly won't be.
It might,
But is that for the lease of that facility, not just for their operation? Because say the rugby league, like rugby league has insurance, like death and all of that, but my understanding is they need additional public liability just to rent a storage shed
And the clubhouse.
and the clubhouse, sorry,
Yeah.
whatever the facilities are.
Yeah. We'll find out about Alpha, please, if there's nothing to check in Aramac. Now, Councillor, there's a slight agenda issue here. I don't think we need to suspend standing orders this late in the day or the year, but can we just now ask for your questions or notice as part of this? Normally, you've added 4.2, but there's not an our agenda.
Oh, sorry.
Very good. Happy to just roll with this. Questions on notice, please. Councillor Pickles.
Mayor, I have one, but I just can't recall what it was.
I actually think you're slightly fibbing, Councillor Pickles. You're trying to think of one because you can't believe that everyone here possibly answered all your questions in 2022.
No, I just went through it.
If you still believed in Santa Claus, you'd be in serious trouble. Councillor Gleeson, I'm moving to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't want to be a pain in the butt, but back in July, I asked, on notice, I asked about a simple little matter out here, Brayside Lane. Brayside Lane's only half a kilometre out of Larkhorden. There's a little flood crossing there that we spoke about. I checked it out this morning. There's still no depth gauges in it. There's still a blind corner, and I feel as though that if we can't handle something that's only half a kilometre out of town, how the heck are we going to handle something that's out of Mount Wilbur or Drummond Slopes? There's the bulrushes is 10 foot high. It's a real blind corner. There is a half a dozen people working there, living there, and I did bring it up before. Another thing that has been brought to my attention, and we've known it for years and years and years, and a lady down at Alpha was talking about it, was if trying to save money, everywhere we go, after every single job, there will be signs laying out in the footpath, out in the gutter, over in the grass, that never, ever, ever, ever get picked up. And I would just like our Director of Works to try and see if he can direct the persons further down the line that when they finish the job, go and pick up those, because it would add up to many, many dollars worth of signs that are laying out in the grass. Thank you.
Councillor Hanson.
no, I'm still there.
Councillor Arthur.
No, I'm like Mr. Mayor, this time of the year, I'll leave any of my questions until January.
Councillor Fun.
I'm fine.
Councillor Rogers.
I had a request for a conversation with Gillian at the opportunity shop, and she wondered whether there could be a opportunity for people to plant trees on their paths, or whether council could supply trees or give them some direction on whether they are allowed to do that in the future. And I actually told her that Councillor Arthur and Councillor Plum are in the committee to of what trees to plant in the footpaths. So she was going to contact you when she had time. But I just think maybe it's something for us to think about.
Mr. Manager, we did speak of this through the CEO, that they purchased them through a rates notice, wasn't it? If they let them know.
The residents can
Can.
plant trees. If it's going to be a garden bed, they ask council permission. But the more trees that we plant, the better, except
Were we going to say?
Through you, Mr Mayor,
No.
I think we need to be very careful about what,
But we were going to supply them proper trees.
it needs to be the type of trees,
Yes.
whether it's power lines.
Councillors and staff, we need a more dedicated approach to this than we do at 3 o'clock after we've been in the chamber for 7 and 8 hours, however long we've been in here for. We're not making policy about tree planting on the footpath in 2 weeks before Christmas.
No trees.
It's a question on notice, we'll develop a strategy. Thank you for raising it, Councillor Rogers. My question on notice is the one that I asked before, but Angela wasn't in the room, about if we could get a response to Alfred Merchandise as a concerned business and trying to utilise the cards. We can get that issue resolved for her as quickly as possible.
Sorry?
Sorry, Angela?
Andrew, was Andrew not in the room?
No.
No.
I'm not sure who it was that were dealing with it, but you were about to speak, Angela, sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr Mayor. Wiley Town offered them a 50% discount. So $20 instead of $40 for the administration and $13 for the postage.
Right, so there is an admin fee.
There is an admin fee, yes.
For every card issue.
No, it's only, sorry, Mr. Mayor, it's only for bulk purchases. So when they want to purchase over 100 cards, it's a $40 load up fee, and that's due to Wiley Town has to administrate that, like they have to have someone load up those cards. They're printed, all the information is printed onto the cards, so it's like a separate print job just specifically for those bulk orders.
So you can come in and order 90 cards. Is that right? Like hundreds of the threshold?
No, Mr.
No.
It's for any bulk orders. They said pretty much your FPOS will stop accepting after 20 cards. So they recommend anything over that the admin officers or the visitor information centres don't do the load up themselves, that you actually do a bulk order.
So they can get processing fees.
Well, it would be an easier administration process because you actually would have to put your credit card, like your card through each time to do that. And for the administration office to sit there and do 100 cards would take time as well.
Okay.
But having said that, Mr. Mayor, we are trying to encourage people to use the cards, so if it's $20.
All right, I'll leave it. Just work that out. I know what I personally think, but. No more, I'll go back to you because I can't believe it, Councillor Peters, you must have thought of a question by now.
Yeah, I did think of it, Mr Mayor, and we organised it in-house. I don't need it to come up here, it's all tidied up, thank you.
Good point. I close the meeting, 2:46 PM.